The story begins on a night when no one expected anything extraordinary to happen, yet it turned into one of the most talked about moments in the entertainment world. Yaman, the Turkish superstar whose name has been linked with countless headlines, suddenly found himself at the center of a whirlwind of emotions, tensions, and unexpected encounters. His connection with Demet Özdemir has always been one of the most fascinating chapters in both of their lives, and fans never stopped wondering what might happen if their paths collided again. What no one could have predicted was that the next chapter in this saga would include Demet's new boyfriend and a scene that felt like something straight out of a dramatic movie. Witnesses who were present that evening recall the atmosphere shifting from casual and relaxed to explosive within a matter of minutes, and the details that followed left everyone stunned. At the heart of this story is not only Yaman's undeniable charisma and fiery temper but also the delicate web of emotions that ties him to Demet Özdemir. For years, the two actors carried the weight of fan expectations, rumors, and the memory of a love story that never fully found closure. When Demet moved forward with her life, finding companionship with a new man, many believed that Can had accepted the reality and chosen to focus on his international career. But the truth is never that simple, especially when emotions run deep. According to those close to both stars, there were always unresolved feelings, words left unsaid, and a tension that lingered beneath the surface no matter how far apart they seemed to be. That tension finally erupted on the night of the explosive fight that is now the center of worldwide gossip. The scene reportedly unfolded at a high-profile event in Istanbul, one that gathered celebrities, producers, and close friends of the entertainment industry. Demet arrived hand in hand with her new boyfriend, a man who had remained relatively outside of the media spotlight until then. His presence was enough to stir whispers among the crowd, as many were curious to see how Yaman, who was also expected to attend, would react. At first, the night began smoothly. Demet smiled for cameras, posed gracefully, and seemed genuinely happy, while her new partner kept a protective arm around her shoulder. The flashes of cameras caught every subtle gesture, every detail, and fans immediately began dissecting the images online. What they didn't see yet was that Can had already entered the venue, and when his eyes fell upon the couple, everything changed. Those who witnessed the moment described Can's expression as a mixture of shock, disbelief, and suppressed anger. It was as if the years of silence between him and Demet suddenly collapsed into a single instant. Friends and colleagues tried to distract him, engaging in conversation, but his eyes remained fixed on Demet and the man by her side. The tension in the room grew thicker, almost palpable, as whispers spread about what might happen next. Some guests tried to brush it off as mere curiosity, but those who knew Can well recognized the storm building inside him. He is not a man who hides his emotions easily, and when it comes to matters of the heart, his passion often overpowers his restraint. The turning point came when Demet and her boyfriend crossed paths with Can near the bar area. At first, there was a polite silence, the kind of awkward pause that carries 1,000 unspoken words. Demet tried to keep her composure, smiling faintly, while her partner extended a hand in an attempt at courtesy. Can, however, was not ready for pleasantries. Witnesses say his voice, though controlled at first, carried an edge of intensity that made everyone within earshot stop and listen. He questioned the man's presence, not in the tone of a stranger but in the tone of someone who still felt a deep claim over Demet's life. The boyfriend responded calmly, trying to de-escalate the situation, but the atmosphere was already spiraling. What happened next was described as an explosion of emotions. Can's words grew sharper, his frustration boiling over as he accused Demet's new partner of stepping into a story that was far from over. Demet herself intervened, placing a hand on Can's arm, begging him to calm down, but her touch only seemed to ignite the fire further. He turned toward her with eyes filled with hurt, asking questions that pierced the silence of the crowd. Was I that easy to replace? Did everything we shared mean nothing? The weight of those words stunned everyone, and even those who had no idea of the history between them could feel the rawness of the moment. Demet's boyfriend, however, did not back down. He stood firm, insisting that Demet's happiness was all that mattered now and that the past had no place in their present. That response, though calm, seemed to provoke Can even more. Witnesses claim his voice rose, his gestures became more animated, and soon the entire venue was buzzing with tension. Security was discreetly alerted, though no physical altercation had yet taken place. The media, of course, caught wind of the unfolding drama, and within minutes, clips and snippets began circulating online, creating a frenzy across social networks. Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing, their favorite heartthrob confronting the man who now held Demet's heart. For many, this incident was more than just a celebrity clash. It symbolized years of unresolved emotions, of what-ifs and unfinished chapters. The way Can's face twisted with pain, the way Demet's eyes filled with tears as she tried to mediate, and the way her new boyfriend held his ground, all of it played out like a live soap opera, only this time it was painfully real. Some guests described the scene as heartbreaking, while others admitted it was thrilling to witness such raw human emotion from people often seen as distant stars on a screen. The energy in the room was chaotic, with conversations buzzing, people recording discreetly, and fans outside speculating wildly about what was going on inside. After several tense minutes, the situation finally de-escalated. Friends of Can stepped in, guiding him away from the confrontation before things spiraled further. Demet, visibly shaken, clung to her boyfriend's hand, trying to regain her composure. Yet the damage was already done. By the next morning, headlines across Turkey and beyond were filled with dramatic titles: Can Yaman explodes at Demet's new boyfriend, chaos at Istanbul gala, and unbelievable twist in Can and Demet's story. The internet was flooded with theories, fan reactions, and endless debates about who was in the right and what this meant for the future of all three involved. For Can, the incident highlighted the reality that no matter how far he tries to run, from Istanbul to Rome, from Turkish dramas to international projects, his bond with Demet continues to haunt him. He has often been portrayed as the strong, confident, untouchable leading man, but on that night, the world saw a different side, a man vulnerable to love, to jealousy, and to the pain of letting go. For Demet, the night was equally difficult. While she has worked hard to move on and build a new chapter in her life, the confrontation proved that the past has a way of resurfacing when least expected. And for her new boyfriend, it was a test of resilience, stepping into a storm that was never truly his but which he was forced to face head-on. In the aftermath, fans continue to speculate about what will happen next. Some believe that this explosive moment could lead to a rekindling of Can and Demet's relationship, while others argue it only solidifies the end of their story. Social media is filled with divided opinions. Some criticize Can for losing control in public, while others defend him, saying it only proves how deep his feelings still run. What cannot be denied is that the clash has reignited global interest in the saga of Can Yaman and Demet Özdemir, proving once again that their story is far from ordinary. What makes this event so unforgettable is not simply the fight itself, but the emotions behind it. It reminded the world that even celebrities, no matter how glamorous or distant they may seem, are human beings vulnerable to love, heartbreak, and jealousy. The chaos of that night has now become part of their legend, a chapter fans will never forget, and one that continues to fuel endless conversations. Whether it marks the true end or the beginning of another twist in their intertwined story, only time will tell.